Studies show women who had good relationships with their fathers achieved higher education, reported less depression, greater confidence, and fewer teenage pregnancies. And those are just the measurable benefits. My Dad, the Man, Black Daughters in Praise of Their Fathers is a new anthology from historian and author Dr. Carol Adams and features stories from some of Chicago's most influential women. And Dr. Adams joins us this morning. Dr. Adams, good morning to you.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. So you are not only the editor and contributor, obviously, in this book, but you're also the creator of it. So tell me, why was it so important to you to create this?
Because I'm one of those daddy's girls. I'm one of those people that benefited from the strong, protective, cultural influence of a black dad. And I think they don't get nearly enough praise. We don't hear about them. We hear about the moms all the time,
right,
but we don't hear about the fathers. Or if we do, we hear a negative message. We hear they're not there, they're not present, they're not this, not that, when the data would show you the exact opposite. You know, studies by places like the Centers for Disease Control show that black fathers spend more time with their children than any other demographic. If we even go back to slavery times when families were split apart, after that you hear about dads who spent years walking from state to state to try to collect their children and get their families back together. So I felt that it was a long overdue story, you know.
I'm the daughter of a phenomenal black father, and
Yes.
I'm curious for you, in speaking about your relationship with your father, how much did you draw on that in terms of creating this?
Oh, a great deal. In fact, I write about my dad. The first chapter is me writing about my dad, of course, you know, but there are different styles of parenting these fathers had, and that's what interested me in the books. They're not 26 fathers written about who all had cookie-cutter approaches to how to best be girl dads. They had different ways. Some were the strong, silent type. Some were the give you a lecture every day type. One father was even in prison for 42 years because of his activism and still managed to communicate with his daughter almost every day and be a dad and provide guidance. You know, so there's protection, there's confidence, inspiring activity that they do for you. My dad taught by example.
I was going to ask you
I
about your
learned by
father.
watching him. He didn't give me lectures, but he showed me how much faith and confidence he had in me. And so I didn't want to disappoint him. So a lot of times when things would come up that I might have been able to do that were negative, I would say, what would he think if I did that?
We're in the similar boat
And
here.
I wouldn't want to disappoint.
Yeah.
You know, he was a coach, so he knew all the guys, so that was very limiting for me because I'd say they'll never be talking about me in my father's locker room. No, I don't think so.
Absolutely.
So it made a lot of difference, but I learned so much from watching him and accompanying him on some of his business things. And I watched his entrepreneurship, and that taught me valuable lessons.
That's amazing.
You know?
How did you find the women? How did you pick? Because obviously there's so many influential black women in the city, but
that a lot of it had to do with people I knew, dads I knew, things that I've watched, relationships I've watched. Then people told other people and all of that. There were more than it became. Who turns in stuff on time? What happens? How does that work? You know, they get you down to this group that I'll truly love. But one of the things I'm seriously considering is doing a website or something so that people can put additional stories. Because everywhere I go, I run into people who say, just like you, I had a phenomenal dad too. I want to write about my father. I wish you'd ask me so I could tell you about my dad. So I want to give some opportunities to expand this conversation and this discussion. Also, I'm working on a curriculum that derives from it that can be used in these fatherhood programs that they have so that people learn some things from these dads.
was there a common thread that you saw throughout all of these stories, or was it maybe it was simply love? I'm not sure if that could encompass all the successes and achievements.
The women felt protected.
Protected.
Okay, I think that was important. They felt valued. If somebody is telling you from birth that you're smart, that you're beautiful, that you're wonderful. They have taught you how to see yourself. You won't allow anybody else to see you differently. If they treat you a certain way and you've always been treated this way, you won't allow anybody to treat you a different way. So they instilled a level of confidence. I got the title from a song by Horace Silver called Song for My Father.
Okay.
Because at first I was going to call it In Praise of Our Fathers. And then I found there was a book with a similar title. And I had always loved this song by Horace Silver that Leon Thomas sings lyrics to. And it begins with, if there was ever a man who was generous, gracious, and good, it was my dad, the man. And I said, that's it.
That's perfect.
My dad, the man. And then he talks further in the lyrics about how he treated him in such a way that he could be unafraid and free. Well, what's better than that? Yeah. Being unafraid and free. And that's what I think the women who write about these dads, one woman, Zoe Salter, writes about two dads, her biological dad and a bonus dad, we like to call them, who was equally as influential for her. So Toy got 2 bites at the apple to talk about these two dads. So we got 25 daughters, 26 dads.
Wonderful. Well, it's such an important project, and we appreciate you being here, Dr. Adams.
Thank you so much for having me. And get the book, y'all.
Absolutely. So again, the name of the book is My Dad, the Man, Black Daughters in Praise of Their Fathers. Dr. Adams, thank you.
You can get it on Amazon.
There we go.